The ember of beginnings. Heraclitus lived in early ITH century BCE in the city of Ephesus, far from the bustle of our modern world. Yet his words still spark in our minds, especially when he focused on fire. He wrote that the world is a flame that burns and reforms, that everything is in a constant state of change, like a fire that consumes and creates. A key idea he shared was that fire is both destroyer and teacher. By watching fire dance, he saw how life requires heat to transform raw potential into strength. His famous line, "The fire that is the soul," means that our inner drive is a kind of flame that must be nurtured. You can picture a small flame sitting in a quiet pot. At first it flickers, then it brightens, then it steadies into a steady glow. She is an example of that pattern. A fire does not stay passive. It demands attention, fuel, and movement. Without our support, the flame will die. This is the strategy Heraclitus taught: embrace the heat of change, feed the flame of purpose, and allow it to reshape you. Motivational insight. We cannot sit still and expect growth. We must stir ourselves like a pot of fire. You must be willing to feel the heat that comes from discomfort and still stay calm. That balance is the secret to success. Each challenge you face is a spark that can lead to a brighter future if you tend to it with care. Concrete example: imagine launching a new project at work. Start with a clear goal, set a small, attainable milestone. This acts like a candle that lights the space. Then add a bit of curiosity, a dash of flexibility, and a steady rhythm of check-ins. Observe the project like a fire. If it starts sputtering, add more support or feedback. If it grows too fierce, temper the pace with rest. This thoughtful interaction turns the project into a sustained flame rather than a brief spark. Key takeaway: fire is a teacher that shows us how to transform raw material into something stronger. If you nourish the flame of your ambitions, you create lasting warmth. The universe of Heraclitus reminds us that only the heat of challenge produces lasting growth. Reflective question: how do you feel the fire within you today? If you are enjoying this, like, share, and subscribe. Follow for more fire. The cycle of blaze. Heraclitus taught that the fire of life is always moving, never still. He said that the same river you step in today is not the one you step in tomorrow, and similarly, the fire you kindle today will not stay exactly the same as the fire you enjoy tomorrow. A lesson from his observation is that adaptation is the soul's companion. Every flame has a rhythm: high, low, steady, or explosive. By observing this rhythm, we learn how to navigate uncertainty. His words, "The fire of truth burns hotter than the world's lies," invite us to seek truth with a passionate light. Stories from his life show he used fire imagery while debating with philosophers. Once in a heated discussion, he suggested that a thoughtful argument be like a controlled blaze, intense enough to make a mark, but restrained so it doesn't scorch. You can apply this when handling criticism or conflict. Treat the situation as a fire that needs to be directed. Direct your energy toward solutions rather than dwelling in the heat of blame. Motivational insight. When obstacles arise, view them as a necessary heat that is forging resilience. A forge uses heat to shape metal. Think of the challenges you face as a forge that sharpens your mind. Do not shield yourself with cold indifference. Instead, embrace warm determination. Concrete example: in daily life, if you encounter a setback at a project, treat it as an ember that needs attention. Schedule a brief meeting, gather data, and brainstorm. This process is like adding a fresh fuel block that reignites the flame. You are turning a pause into progression, ensuring that the fire doesn't sputter out. Key takeaway: change is the flame that fuels growth. Adaptation is its companion, and learning to guide the flame leads to lasting success. Reflective question: what is a recent challenge you are currently burning? If you are enjoying this, like, share, and subscribe. Follow for more fire. The furnace within. Heraclitus used the image of a furnace, a place where raw material turns into something refined. He claimed that the heart of the cosmos is a furnace of heat that molds everything. Likewise, he believed that the human spirit is a furnace that must be managed carefully. He said that we are like molten bronze, shaped by the heat of our experiences. He gave an example of how pottery molds when molten clay passes through a furnace. If the fire is too weak or too strong, the shape changes. Similarly, our ambitions need a balanced intensity. Too little fire and you stagnate. Too much fire and you burn out. His advice is to find equilibrium. Motivational insight. The furnace metaphor tells us that every thought, decision, or action is a piece of material that a heat must transform. By recognizing this, you become an intentional blacksmith of your life. Each choice becomes a spark, each consequence a product. Concrete application. When setting goals, treat each action as a piece of material. Consider the resources you have, time, knowledge, emotional stamina as your furnace fuel. Schedule regular reviews, allowing yourself to cool down when necessary, but never let the momentum extinguish. For example, if you want to learn a new skill, break the learning into short, intense sessions with short breaks in between, simulating the heat cycles of a furnace. This ensures steady progress. Key takeaway: inner growth requires controlled heat. Nurture the flame of ambition with steady, purposeful effort. Balance intensity with rest and remain mindful of your own furnace. Reflective question: what element of your life would benefit from a gentle, steady heat? If you are enjoying this, like, share, and subscribe. Follow for more fire. The forge of progress. Heraclitus urged us to see progress as a forge in which we are constantly reshaped. Like a smith refining steel, we must endure heat and pressure to become stronger. He believed that the key to a life of purpose is to engage with the flame, not to fear it. His teaching, "The fire of perseverance burns brighter if we keep it fed with persistence," is a guiding light for those chasing success. In practice, he illustrated this by comparing a skilled sailor who steers his ship through storms. The storm is a violent fire, but the sailor uses that energy to navigate, not to surrender. A similar approach can guide our own struggles. Use the heat of a pressure to push forward, not to retreat. Motivational insight. Progress is not a passive event, but a dynamic dance with heat. You cannot simply stand still and wait for growth. You must confront heat, adjust, and move forward. Every triumph is the result of a battle with your inner fire. Concrete example: in a career setback, treat it as a forge that is reshaping your skills. Take a course, ask for mentorship, or volunteer for different projects. These actions are like adding new alloys to your fire, strengthening your professional composition. Key takeaway: use the fire of challenge to forge a clearer and stronger path. Stay engaged, adapt, and feed your perseverance. Reflective question: how can you turn a recent challenge into a forging experience? If you are enjoying this, like, share, and subscribe. Follow for more fire. The spark of tomorrow. Heraclitus concluded that fire is the life force that lights the future. He remarked that fire burns bright against the darkness, pointing toward tomorrow's potential. He taught that every day is a chance to strike a new spark. The spark represents the moment when intention meets action, when a seed of possibility ignites. Historically, he predicted that the human soul would be like a lamp that burns ever brighter as we learn, a fire that refuses to fade. He urged us to be mindful of our sparks, to maintain them, and to pass them to others, like sharing a flame that grows brighter. Motivational insight. Your spark today shapes your tomorrow. Each small act of courage is a spark that can ignite a bright future. It isn't about grand gestures, it is about the quiet fire you keep burning daily. Concrete application. Choose one habit that fuels your spark. Journal before bed, practice gratitude, or set a short daily goal. Dedicate a few minutes each day to that habit. This consistency fuels a steady flame that will illuminate your next steps. When you pass on wisdom or encouragement to someone else, you feed another spark, creating a chain of fire that expands. Key takeaway: nurture the spark, keep it burning, and do not let it go out. Your future is a series of these sparks turned into a blaze. The wisdom of Heraclitus reminds us that in our hands, we carry the right to keep the fire alive. Reflective question: what is one action today that will ignite your spark for tomorrow? If you are enjoying this, like, share, and subscribe. Follow for more fire.